Hello and welcome to Car Design Shorts. The 2024 Toyota Prius is the 5th generation model of this pioneering hybrid, and it looks amazing. This video highlights key exterior design features of the latest Prius and looks at how its styling cues have progressed since the 1st generation model. The 1st generation Prius was the first mass-produced car combining an internal combustion engine and electric motors as sources of power. It was launched in Japan in 1997 and later worldwide in the year 2000. The design of the first model revolved around creating an optimally aerodynamic form, and it debuted with a drag coefficient, or CD, of 29, far lower than cars of the time. By contrast, the slippery-looking Toyota MR2 had a CD of 35. The focus on aerodynamics meant that the hood dropped very sharply, more so even than hatchbacks of the time like the Toyota Corolla. The Prius also had a trunk, but didn't really feel like a saloon because saloons back then had quite level bonnets. So, from the outset, the Prius really was a hybrid, both in terms of technology and appearance. Its hybrid exterior design features, however, meant that it hadn't yet found the aesthetic traits that would make it distinctive for the right reasons. The design of the 2nd generation model resolved these issues. By the time it was launched in 2003, the world was a little more ready for hybrid technology, and Toyota could afford to take a more confident direction in styling. The 2nd generation car is 15 centimeters longer and has an aerodynamic camtail profile, reducing its CD to 26. The camtail was developed in the 1930s by the German aerodynamicist Wernibald Kamm. It has mainly been used on sports cars, though before the Prius, a few family cars such as the Alfa Romeo Alfasud had famously adopted it. The camtail gave the Prius a clean, sharp-edged, futuristic aesthetic that complemented its sustainable drivetrain. The camtail has remained a defining feature of the Prius and has been used in every subsequent model. The rear end of the Prius is much higher than in cars like the Alfasud, potentially limiting rear visibility for the driver. So the trunk incorporates an additional windscreen. This has become another characteristic feature of all subsequent models. The steep incline of the hood raised the possibility of there being a large area without much visual interest for onlookers. To counteract this, the designers elongated the front lights to take up room on the hood. The result is a face with a serene expression reflecting the car's sustainable mandate. Whereas the 2nd generation Prius was an incredibly pure design, the 3rd generation, launched in 2009, added more styling features and its details felt more three-dimensional. This includes a more pronounced shoulder line and front lights that resemble wings. The rear end gained edges that were very defined and progressive for the time, helping to create a more aerodynamically efficient form. The rear lights gained corners which made the rear look wider and more solid than the previous model. But overall, it's possible to recognise the DNA of the 2nd generation car in the Mark III model. First sold in 2015, the 4th generation took the styling in a wild direction, applying the sharp edges found on the previous model to a range of features and details. The front lights shoot off in a myriad of directions and work together with the grille to create an uneasy expression. Also, the lines around the windscreen pillars end quite abruptly, adding to the uneasy body styling. The shoulder line dives rapidly and becomes very pronounced. It's practically a fin, channeling the feeling of fantastic post-World War II cars that were inspired by jet aircraft. Like the front lights, the rear lights are elongated, with tentacles stretching down to become the outer edges of the rear end. A lot of people thought that the design of the Prius needed reining in, so Toyota tamed the front and rear lights in 2017. The rear end of the Prius Prime, the plug-in version, however, remains proudly untamed and is a testament to what designers can dream up given enough caffeine. The latest Prius looks amazing. Its simple, curvaceous form stands in contrast to the complexity of the outgoing model. With its pure form, in some respects, it references the 2nd generation Prius. But rather than having quite flat surfaces, it's very sculptural in appearance. And instead of looking high, it's substantially lower than previous models, 4 centimeters lower than the Generation 4. This is because occupants sit lower down, meaning the windscreen can be angled sharply backwards, without it going through the driver's forehead. Look at how sporty this makes the new Prius look in comparison to its predecessor. Indeed, the combination of a low front end, raked windscreen and a chopped off rear end make the latest Prius feel a little bit like a Lamborghini. Although of course it can seat 5 in comfort. The rear overhang is 5 cm shorter than on the outgoing model, and this pronounced edge makes the rear overhang feel a lot shorter than the front overhang. Visually, this has the effect of pushing the Prius forward, making it feel like it's moving when it's standing still. This trick is used on Lamborghinis, generating a feeling of speed and momentum. The latest Prius smooths out areas of complexity that were prominent on the previous model. The base of the windscreen pillar is now clean, and a powerful haunch replaces the wild shoulder line. The new Prius combines simple, elegant surfaces with bold elements. For example, though more refined, the kick on the rocker is more pronounced than on the Generation 4 car, becoming a confident standalone feature. The front end is shaped like a hammerhead shark, providing a dramatic presence, with the running lights tracing the outer edge. This shape looks to be key for Toyota in the coming years. It's also present in the 2022 BZ Compact SUV concept car. Like the rest of the car, the rear end is really slick, with a full-width light bar placed beneath the trunk windscreen. As with the design of the front end, Toyota are keen to develop a new generation family aesthetic with the design of the rear lighting. A slightly different take on the light bar is found on the 2024 Crown. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing the stunning 5th generation Prius here in the UK, as Toyota have decided to discontinue it here. Is there a better reason to emigrate? I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, why not like and subscribe for more car design shorts?